Now then, welcome to a mini tutorial on how to set up this automated system behind me to create the fiberglass required in Flans Gun Mod. The Flans Gun Mod has a weapons box which requires the use of fiberglass in many of its recipes to buy guns, along with iron and gunpowder and the likes as well. But I decided that I wanted to automate the process of making this fiberglass. So I took a little time to try and create a system that would work back from fiberglass through the clay and sand mixture you require to smelt in any sort of furnace arrangement whatsoever. Clay and sand being just a simple clay and sand recipe to make the clay and sand mixture to make the fiberglass that gets used throughout the Flans mod. One thing that we can do with thermal expansion is automate both the production of clay and the production of sand. So we have to make slag from thermal expansion, mix it with water and dirt to make clay. And we can also make sand just by pulverizing a variety of things, including cobblestone. And cobblestone, of course, can be created by just using an igneous extruder, like this one over here, down here. There we go. Just a basic cobblestone generator, but you can get cobblestone from anywhere in your world as well if you wanted. This just automates everything from an energy supply. This energy supply here is steam turbines from Mine Factory Reloaded. Before the update, there's a new update out that may require steam turbines to require steam instead of water. So this is a bit of a cheaty power source right now in the update that we're currently in for Mine Factory Reloaded. But substitute this with any power supply you have in your base already, and this tutorial will still work. So let's head back to the beginning and rip it all down and start again. So firstly, let's take that bucket of water out. I've made it all at once already, and just to test it all out, make sure it was possible before I show you guys. And now we're going to make it up for reals now. Okay, so don't worry about what all these things are in here. These are all just bits and pieces that I will show you in a bit. Okay, so first off, we have a power generation system, the same as down there. We've got an aqueous accumulator, which is basically an infinite water source in between the two sources of water, constantly generating water. And the configuration on these thermal expansion machines means that I can push the water that it creates up, exit it up, so it'll push water out the top if there's some inventory to take it, if there's another tank of some kind to take it. And in this case there's a steam turbine which has a water tank involved, so it can produce energy from water, making steam. So it's producing energy directly onto there, and we're going to take that energy and we're going to take it up a block or so. Let's do one block. So we're going to take it up and we're going to store it into these leadstone energy cells, which currently have been set up and running for a bit, so they're quite full. These leadstone energy cells will store the energy produced by that steam turbine in here as like a little battery. So we want that side to output. At the minute, the configuration is input, all input. So it inputs on all sides energy, so it's taking energy from below and inputting it here. But we want to output energy on this side, so now we can see that they've changed the colour. And we want to do that with each of these so that we can then push our factory, power our factory here. So orange on that one, orange on that one, and I'm going to set that up to the max 80 per tick as well, so that it's going to start outputting power as soon as I connect it up. Alright, then we're going to bring this power across to a little area over here that we're going to use for powering all of our machines. And we're going to work left to right with these machines and how they're all going to go together. The first part of the process that I want is going to be making cobblestone. Okay, so we're going to have this here. Yeah, just there, right? An igneous extruder. An igneous extruder is a fairly simple recipe to make. These machine frames are used for almost all thermal expansion, and pneumatic servers are also used for thermal expansion a lot. So it's iron, glass and gold for that. Very, very simple. And the pneumatic server is a bit of redstone in the middle, iron and glass. So they're very simple to make, and you know how to make a piston already. So we got that. Now that requires, this basically is like a cobblestone generator. So it requires lava and water. When lava and water are put together, it makes cobblestone in vanilla, so it can just make infinite cobblestone. We could also have it so that it uses lava and then uses up water source blocks to make stone. We can also have it so that it uses the water and uses up the lava source blocks to make obsidian. But right now we just need cobblestone. So we're going to start by putting some water in there, and if you see, I just right clicked it and it gave it one of its 4 buckets. And we're also going to want some lava. Now the lava, I've got a little lava lake out here, hidden away, squirreled down in this tunnel here. It's a little underground lava lake, and this is sulfur where it comes from naturally. We'll have a bit of lava, and we'll stick that in the machine as well. Again, you right click it, bonk, like that, and now it's come alive. Look, you can see there's lava and water. And it's now using lava and water as a cobblestone generator to make cobblestone. Okay? Now, we don't want any inputs into this, but we want it to output at the top. So this section here, the orange place, is currently the output. So blue would be water and lava coming in. Orange is cobblestone coming out. What we're going to do with cobblestone is we're going to make sand. Okay, so this is now going to start filling up. We make it so the bottom allows entrance, as it were. The cobblestone from below comes up into it from the bottom area and comes into this slot. Once we give it some power, it will start pulverizing cobblestone. So let's quickly connect that up to the first part here. There's no in and out of this, it just powers. So we don't need to worry too much about which direction the power's flowing. It'll just power. And now the power starts building up, and the energy cell will start losing power. But at the same point, the steam turbine is refilling the power as well. So it's quite adequate to make this much energy to deal with a pulverizer. And as you can see, the pulverizer is making sand. Pulverized cobblestone makes sand. There's also a chance of making gravel, but we'll deal with the gravel later. So now we've got the sand. What we want the sand to do is we want the sand to go into the induction smelter. So we're going to pop an induction smelter next to it. Now this induction smelter currently has green for this here, which is right. We want that. So we'll change it back. You shift click the center to remove all current settings, to reconfigure it. Blank it all out with shift clicking, and then we set that. So now from the left hand side of the machine, it's going to accept items into this slot. And so this machine here, we want the right hand side of the machine to push out items from this slot here. So we'll go with red, because red is that slot. Yeah. So now it'll take the sand and push it out into the induction smelter. Okay. Now that's not quite enough just yet. We still need to have iron, pulverized iron going into the machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to get another pulverizer, and we're going to connect that up here, and we're going to set that one so that it's pushing out its finished product towards the induction smelter. And we're going to have the induction smelter so it's accepting the product from that side. So it's accepting the pulverized iron from that side. And we'll stick the iron in there. We also need to, of course, connect the energy up, so it's going to be putting energy into there quite adequately. The pulverizer, as we've seen before, drains some energy from here, but this is quite adequate to keep it topped up very quickly. So now it's pulverizing iron, which will make pulverized iron dust, and that pulverized iron dust will just sit in there. So we've got our 2 components for making slag. Right, so the pulverized iron will make iron ingots, but it will also have a 25% chance of each process of making the slag that we actually want. But there's going to be something that we're missing. Let's just put some power to it. We'll do it that way. Put some power to it like that and have a look. So now it's functioning, it's making iron ingots. But the iron ingots need to go back into the pulverizer to make a little endless loop of pulverized iron. Iron gets pulverized, turned back into iron. Pulverized back into iron. Pulverized back into iron. And the sand comes in from one side. But we're already using this side that it's connected to. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an item duct that's going to take out the iron ingots from this machine and put the iron ingots into that machine. We have to tell it what to extract as well. So we're going to... actually, I don't think we do need to tell it what to extract, so we'll just put that in there. However, if I don't give that a redstone signal, I can't access it. So right-clicking on it now, a servo must be installed for me to be able to control that. I can just put a redstone signal on it, and that will just make it start pumping out everything. And it should generally pump out from this slot, or whichever I set to the back. So the back is going to be that. Okay, so that's the back slot there. That's the front, top, left, right, bottom, back. So the back is where I want the iron to come out of. So it's going to try and push iron out the back. If I put a servo on there, I can now access it and tell it that I want it to be always active, regardless of whether it's got a redstone signal or not, and that I also want it to be very particular to only take iron ingots out. I can't put that back in, but yeah. It should really take only iron ingots out anyway, but that should then just start putting them back into there. So we should see that as this pulverizes, it will go into the induction smelter, and then as the induction smelter makes the iron ingots should come back in and top up the pulverizer. So we configuration that and make the input back. So now it will start adding the iron back in as it goes. So it'll take the iron that it's smelting up and stick it back over here. What we got next? We've got to take the slag from here and put it somewhere safe. So for now, my solution is to just have a strong box. So there's nothing in this strong box currently. We can set this strong box down there, and you can still open these. They don't require a transparent block above them. So now we can set the bottom area to go that one. So we want the slag to go down into the chest. So now all the slag is going down into the chest. So we're getting the product that we're after. That's the be-all and end-all of this entire system. Totally automate the production of the slag. For some reason this still isn't working. Let's just check this out. So we've got iron should be going out of the back into that. Oh, I've got it blacklisted. So it's blacklisted saying no iron. I'll whitelist it so it says only iron. And then it should start transferring the iron across to the pulverizer. There we go. We're back up to nearly the full stack now. So that will just continuously run and make slag. Right? So that is an isolated system now. We don't want anything else to interfere with that system. That's now an isolated system. The only other thing that we've got is this gravel, which we don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab myself the glass that I've just cooked up. Grab that. Because I'm using glass for this so we can see what's going on. Put that there and take one of these void chests and put a void chest on the side. Because basically I don't want to store the gravel. And if this machine ever gets to a full stack of gravel, then it's going to be voiding it off. Well, it's going to just stop working because it can't put anything in there. So what we need to do is set that to output the gravel to the left. And to the left is a void chest. And a void chest literally does what it says. It just voids items. So you can fill the chest and it'll just go. A void chest is made very simply with some obsidian and an ender pearl in the middle. Easy peasy. So now that full system should support itself and just make the slag. Next up we're going to need to get sand again and also water. So we're going to have an aqueous accumulator. I think I'll put that down this way. Yeah. So let's have the aqueous accumulator just there. Like so. And break that one for water. Let's take this other water source. Let's take that out. And put water source on this side. And also a water source on the other side. Before I do that, let's just have a look. It's got no water in at the minute, but it's got input and output from all directions. So put it there. And then block that piece off with a glass. There we go. So now this will fill up with water because it's in the infinite water source location, and that should work to pump up into the next stage. And the next thing is going to be, we're going to put this assembler. Now, a cyclic assembler is another fairly easy recipe. It's got machine frames again. It's got these redstone coils, which are simple enough to make. It's got gears, which are fairly easy, iron with tin around it, easy enough to make. So it's fairly easy to make. We'll place that on there, and this has an internal tank, which will now start filling up with water from the accumulator, the aqueous accumulator below, pushing water directly out to it. It will start receiving all the water. And it needs a pattern. It needs a crafting recipe to decide what it's going to do, which is another thing that we've got to work on. So let's bring the power down from there to it. We can also stop that link there so it's not linked up, so it looks easier to maintain and look about. And we've got this here. Now I've prepared these schematics. A schematic is basically 2 pieces of paper and some blue dye, lapis, to make a recipe, a schematic. And you place those schematics into a work table, one of these things over here, a machinist workbench. So as you can see, I've got a crafting recipe here, and I'll put that blank schematic into there and then click on it, and it will tell me what I'm going to have, and it will make that schematic of the crafting recipe and ready to automate. So now down here we will have this here is going to take the clay crafting recipe, which is 2 slag, a water bucket and a dirt block. So we're going to take that and stick that into there, right? We need to get the clay across to it. We need to bring the clay into it at some way, shape or form, don't we? So we'll have that coming from here. We can limit what that's touching, and we can turn that to output. So that should bring the slag from one place to another. One thing I want to do before I change anything else is to use these micro blocks to trap it in there so that it's not going to connect to anything else that I set on afterwards. We're going to put a servo in there, so now I can access the servo and tell it what to do. So we're going to, this time we're going to set it so that it'll always pump out, so it doesn't need a redstone signal, and it will take the clay, the slag from there and put it into here. Now I want to make sure that it's only taking slag, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up on the whitelist. I'm going to whitelist slag so that it only takes slag from in there and brings it out this way into there. So now it's receiving the slag. If I put the water buckets in there, it will also be able to take water buckets as part of the recipe, and then we just need to add dirt. So adding dirt, we're just going to add it manually for now because we've got to have a method for that. We've got to have a method for putting dirt into there, and there's no way of automating making dirt, so we're just going to have to put it in like that, you see? And already it's made some clay. Where does that clay go? Well, we are going to set it up so that the clay will exit out of the back. Right? So we've got water coming in from the side, we've got other materials coming in from that side, we'll have nothing coming in from the top, we'll have the clay going out the back. Clay going out the back, where we are going to put another cyclic assembler. Another cyclic assembler. So now this will receive the clay from the back, and this is clay and sand. So we'll have the clay and sand recipe in there. It doesn't require any water, it just requires the clay and the sand together. So how do we make the sand? Well, that's easy. We just do another little setup like this that is currently making the sand easily enough, which is making far more sand than I'm ever going to need. But let's do that. So we're going to have the igneous extruder. Let's put the igneous extruder this side or that side. Don't suppose it really matters. Let's put the igneous extruder on the bottom there, like so, and get ourselves a bucket of water and a bucket of lava again. So bucket of water and a bucket of lava. We'll go down and get some lava from here again so that we can get that started, because we need it to be a cobblestone generator first off. There we go. I'll make it as easy as possible to get around here, don't I? Especially in bat form, at least. Right, and then we go down here and pop that into there. So now it's got the bucket of lava it's going to need. And we'll go and get the water from our infinite tanks over here. Boink, there we go. And head back up, stick that into here. Boink. And now it will start making the infinite cobble. So we want this to output cobblestone up. So we're changing it to that. It doesn't need a redstone signal or anything, but we'll set it to disabled. And then we're going to put a pulverizer on top of it, so the pulverizer can get pulverizing. And just to keep things neat and tidy, I'm going to supply power from the top rather than from the side. Okay, have a munch of an apple, and we're nearly there. We're nearly complete with this now. Again, though, we've got the problem that we're going to have excess gravel coming out. So I'll do the same thing again on this side. So we're going to have a void chest on this side, like so. And this one, we're going to have the inputs and outputs set up slightly different, aren't we? So we'll take input from below, which will take the cobblestone. We're going to have the output of this section here going off to the void chest, so that's that one. So any gravel that appears goes into there. And I think we are going to have piping going from the back of this. So the back is going to be there. So all the sand will go out the back of it, which means we're going to need to use this cable again to take this from there to there. We're going to get rid of that connection there, turn that connection into an output, stick a servo on it, tell it what we want it to do. So we'll get the sand first of all. We get a piece of sand first of all from in here, just to tell it whitelist sand only. Whitelist sand, and don't need any redstone signal. There we go. It doesn't actually need it because these pulverizers tend to push things out into the pipes anyway. So now the pulverizer for this sand is going to be pushing the sand out and into this cyclic assembler, which needs clay and sand. So this is now receiving clay and sand from the machine so far, and it is going to start making this clay once I give it some power. So we're going to put some power cable just there, and that should give it the power it needs to start making a clay. There we go. Clay and sand mixture. Sorted. The next thing we need is to turn this clay into this fiber, which is a simple fiberglass recipe, smelting that clay and sand mixture into fiberglass. So we're going to need to bring it across and into somewhere I can supply power. So I'm going to put a redstone furnace down there, supply that redstone furnace with some power, which is going to be like that, like that. So now that's receiving power, yeah. But we've got to bring it across here. We could just do some more item filters and stuff, but I want a bit of an overflow, I think. So let's see about having an overflow chest. Yeah, there we go. And put the overflow chest down there and disconnect it so it's not connected to that in any way, shape or form. Also, because of the glass there, it's not connected to that one in any way, shape or form. We can double make sure that by putting a block in the way. So now it's got that micro block stopping any connection to that chest whatsoever, like so. So that clay is now being received from there because it's auto outputting to the right. Awesomely. Cool, cool. Putting all of our sand and clay mixture into there. We're going to also stop that from ever joining by putting a piece there as well. And we're going to put another item conduct there. Have I got some more? Am I one short? I think I've made things slightly different than I did last time. So I need a piece of item conduct to go into this. Just put this in there, and we can stop it from having any link to that chest at the back by giving it a bit of a click. Just like that and that. There we go. So now this shouldn't have got anything out of there. Strongbox empty, that's got that, that's got nothing in, that's all good. So this then needs to be changed to output. Put a servo on it so I can access it and tell it to transfer only the clay stuff, which it probably would do anyway. But I'll whitelist it to be absolutely sure, and also if I add anything else to the system in the future, it will make sure that it doesn't do anything it's not supposed to. And now that will have the clay and sand mixture over to here, which can then be outputted into a chest. So let's, should we take that one? Yeah, let's take this one. Now, one thing to note with this is that it doesn't generally output into a chest that's got restrictions on it. So we'll take the restrictions off for now. There is a way to set that up so that other people can access. But for now, that's it. So it should output on the right, putting fiberglass into that chest for me to come and just pick it up whenever I want it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial on how to make this automated system through thermal expansion. Even if it's not any use to you directly because you're making something else, at least some of the techniques here may prove useful to you in future endeavours of automating things yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will catch you on another video that you will see of Nemsun doing tutorials. Thank you very much, and goodbye.